More and more, we see products labeled as dangerous, as toxic, and I'm not talking about materials coming from China, that are made out of plastics or whatnot. I'm talking about movies. I'm talking about something that is standard fare that we've seen for the longest time, but now, under current year, oh no. We first saw that with the Joker. I mean, truly doubling down on it, trying to really predict something that was going to be terrible because, hey, that movie, it's going to cause a disaster. Now we see it leveled at other movies as well, this time at the Invisible Man of all things. I mean, really, the Invisible Man. So hey there. So today I want to return to that wonderful world of train wrecks and cancel culture meeting current year. Yeah, it's definitely a train wreck. We have the media come out and more try to cancel things, and well, they don't do a good job of it. In fact, they are the front line of advertisement in a war that they don't even understand. They think that they have power. Well, sure they do. Most people, they take what they say, and they do exactly the opposite. Hey, it's not safe to jump off a bridge. Well, that's pretty much how they would end people. But anyway, so this article comes from Bounding Into Comics. Now, Bounding Into Comics is one of those odd places because they actually pick up this kind of material and they talk about it. What are they talking about here? Well, a CBR writer claiming that the new Invisible Man film is more toxic and dangerous than Todd Phillips' Joker. Now, really think about that statement there. Think about what they said that Todd Phillips' Joker would actually cause within society. I mean, that went to such a degree that they were encouraging the idea that you shouldn't go at first because, well, we need police detectives there. We have the military talking about it. Again, think about that statement, because that statement, it says plenty, not only on the people that perpetually need to cancel something, but also on the statement itself. So continuing, starting the article here, CBR writer, we're going to call them RM, declared that the upcoming The Invisible Man film starring Elizabeth Moss is more toxic and dangerous than Todd Phillips' Joker film. Yeah, it's going to be toxic. You know what they mean by toxic and damaging too. You have Elizabeth Moss in it, but hey, I'm sure I'm sure it's terrible in some way, shape, or form because of that. In his article titled The Invisible Man is Already More Toxic Than Todd Phillips' Joker, RM makes his arguments solely based on the film's first trailer. Now, this film's first trailer, too, what's insane about this stuff is it's going with its best foot forward. And The Invisible Man, the way that that's been portrayed, especially recently, it's a horror film. I mean, we're talking about horror films there. And The Invisible Man, even if you go back to the classics, it is a horror film in a lot of ways, especially when someone finds out that they can do whatever they want. When you're unseen, when you're out there, what exactly would you do? You've had an exploration of that in the past. And as we move forward, as we gravitate toward, newer audiences, these themes, they become more and more morose, more and more dark. And there's an expectation of that. But continuing, to give you some background, The Invisible Man is an adaptation of a classic H.G. Wells novel. In the novel, a man named Griffin invents a way to become invisible and concocts a plan to reign terror in England using his newfound ability. His plan is foiled by Dr. Kemp, and Griffith is savagely beaten to death by a number of villagers who corner him. In the upcoming film, the trailer reveals that Celia Cass, played by Elizabeth Moss, flees from a secluded mansion, seemingly in fear for her life. There is even a shot of her partner, Adrian, punching in a car window as he attempts to track her down. While this scene is being played out, a lawyer reveals that Adrian committed suicide by cutting his wrists. According to his will, Cass will receive $5 million if she is not ruled to be mentally incompetent. However, it appears Adrian is actually living and has found a way to become invisible. He uses his ability to toy with Cass in an attempt to make her feel like she is losing her mind and that those around her believe her mental stability is deteriorating. The RM takes this issue with what the trailer shows us, the plot describing it as, ooh, look at that ist. Always a type of ist or ism, isn't there? RM adds, this is a movie about controlling a woman and gaslighting her to the point where she thinks she's insane. Yeah, that's exactly the thing. It's about a monster doing what monsters do. Do you understand that idea, right? You understand that there are monstrous people in society, and that pretending that monstrous people don't exist doesn't make them go away. See, there's this confusion about what a person does in the real world versus what people do on the screen, those things meshing. This isn't going to be some kind of a overarching plot into someone's life. Someone is not going to say, ooh, that looks good, therefore I'm going to go and concoct an invisibility potion, and therefore. Anyway, continuing. It's very tone deaf, given the male-dominated and at times chauvinistic society we live in, where some men do seem to think they have ownership over women's bodies. Again, tone deaf. I love these people. They go out and they complain about all of these things, yet they use things like tone deaf, which, according to their own setups, is ableism. So my goodness, you're a terrible, terrible human being. Don't you strive to be better? I mean, you see how easy that stuff is to do, right? We see it in brands, the corporate and business world, and the entertainment industry, which is known to objectify women's bodies. So why should a man like Adrian own Celia's mind? It's another distasteful plot of a man wanting to have power over an innocent woman. And you know what's going to be going on with that too? She's probably going to win. So when you talk about this, it's not a plot about a man having power over a female. It's a plot about a man going in, trying to dominate someone, and someone persevering, overcoming adversity. I mean, you do see that. You do write for CBR, right? The place that actually covers comic books sometimes. Do you not understand the classic superhero types where, again, adversity, overcoming. People try to drive other people insane all the time. I mean, seriously, are we to the point in society where we pretend that doesn't exist? You see all of the advertisements, too, about the Invisible Man here. I don't think this will be a huge movie. I'm hoping that it will actually be at least a good movie. That way we can have something that's kind of entertaining in it, kind of successful, and because it throws a wrench into things with these kind of people. However, the trailer actually shows Moss's character is not mentally deranged. It's just the people around her who believe she is. It also shows that she believes Adrian is not dead and is taking steps to thwart him. In fact, the opening scene of the trailer shows Cass fleeing Adrian and escaping his abusive behavior. In an attempt to regain his power over her, Adrian resorts to faking his death and turning himself invisible. RM actually takes issue with this plot point. So he doesn't even like the plot point there. Faking a suicide to create a situation where everyone starts viewing the female protagonist as insane is pretty extreme direction for the studio to take the movie. Really? You think that's an extreme way to take a movie? Do you ever watch movies? Oh, I'm sure. Care Bear Stare doesn't actually include in there. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Mr. M did not see Gone Girl. The movie where basically lady frames her husband for murder and then eventually murders someone else. Yeah, the film was pretty successful. The numbers report it brought in $167.7 million at the domestic box office and $368.5 million worldwide. The reported production budget was $61 million. However, these two issues were not the only ones RM had with the trailer. He writes, not to mention Celia having to fight being deemed crazy by the authorities in order to pocket the inheritance means she's basically selling her mind and safety for the sake of a bank account. That's a very toxic spin. Love that there. Toxic spin. And it's this is another ist. I always like that the ist that they want, feminist, is actually a poison brand with the ist that they throw around because of their poison brand. Yeah. Okay. So because men shouldn't be looking at women like possessions in this manner, Universal has reduced Celia intelligence and being down to a figure on a checkbook. Oh my God, a figure on a checkbook. How dare they there? First and foremost, she's being granted $5 million through what looks like a will from an alleged deceased person. She's not selling her mind for money. It's being given to her. It's very different from indecent proposal, where a person is offered $1 million to spend a night with a lady. Also, $5 million is an amount that, like that, could literally change the course of 99% of people's lives. Thirdly, anyone who knows anything about women coming out of an abusive relationship knows for a fact that normally they are left with little to no resources due to the manipulation of their partners and those around them. This is something I've witnessed firsthand myself, both personally and my own volunteer work with my community. Now, RM then takes issue with the idea of the Invisible Man story, saying it has always been problematic. So it's always been problematic. That said, the concept of the Invisible Man has always been problematic, most notably in the movie Hollow Man from 2000s, for the aughts. You knew that would be thrown in there, right? The character stalked victims, even committing a certain type of assault. So why should a man who wants to subjugate a woman and make her his own mental slave not be treated with some disdain in this day and age's more politically correct times? After all, Adrian's not obsessed with heists that lead him to stealing physical objects, but he is violating a woman's mind and stealing her freedom in more ways than one. It's always been toxic, I swear. Talking about a classic that goes back to 1897. But of course, we're going to rewrite history and throw it in the toilet. One wonders if he knows the story is based off a successful novel written by H.G. Wells in 1897. Probably not. I wonder if he takes issues with the character being included in Alan Moore's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, and you know, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen also has a little bit of that Force thing, only if you haven't checked out the second one, yeah, Mr. Hyde to the Invisible Man, that's right, or countless TV and film adaptations of the Invisible Man. R.M. concludes his writing. This is a very dangerous example Hollywood is setting for men who harbor anti-female biases by making a woman's inheritance contingent on her sanity, universal, not just being disrespectful to the female gender, but to those who struggle with mental health issues on a whole. I'm sure Universal is quaking in their boots at these accusations, especially considering the box office receipts for Joker. Exactly. The film has earned $322.7 million domestically, over $1 billion worldwide, according to the numbers. The Invisible Man, it talks about what it is and all of that. Now, of course, everybody out there, they have to cause problems for something new, something different. There always has to be a new movie. This one, it doesn't surprise me, but what you have here is an attempt to damage something. That's what they want. They want it to not exist. They want to cancel it in cancel culture. Isn't that amazing? I mean, isn't it amazing why they do it? Not because they don't like the plot, but because the plot is dangerous. The plot is harmful to other people. Anyway, so you tell me what you think about this. I think it's a lot of the same old. I wonder if they can actually damage something like that. I wonder if the brand will ever retaliate too. Tell me what you think about it.